In a small town hidden among the hills of Galilee, there lived an old tailor named Yosef. He was a master of his craft, but he had a terrible temper. Anger flared up in him instantly. He shouted, pounded his fists, threw his tools. Then he would cool down and weep bitterly. Neighbors avoided his house. Children were afraid, and his wife had become a silent shadow. Yosef suffered, but he could not control himself. One day, he heard that a tzaddik, a righteous man known for helping people master their passions, had arrived in a nearby town. Yosef went to see him. The tzaddik sat at a table with a cup of tea. After listening to Yosef's story about his anger, remorse, and helplessness, he picked up an empty clay jug. "You see, it is empty. When you pour water in, it fills. Pour it out, it empties. What would you do to make sure this jug never fills with water again?" "Break it?" asked Yosef. "And if you don't want to break it?" "I don't know. It can always be filled again." The tzaddik smiled and said, "Every time you feel anger rising, stop, take a deep breath, and say to yourself, 'I choose silence.' Just 3 words. At first, it will be hard, but eventually, the habit will leave you. Come back in a month." Yosef returned home. The first few days, he was full of determination. One day, his wife served him cold soup. He was about to shout, but remembered, "I choose silence." He clenched his teeth and stayed quiet for a whole minute, then went outside and calmed down. His wife looked at him with surprise and gratitude. The next day, a neighbor said that the fence Yosef had repaired was wobbly again and added, "Looks like you do shoddy work, Yosef." Blood rushed to his face. Yosef whispered, "I choose silence." But the anger rose like a flood. He shouted, accused the neighbor, said too much. A month later, Yosef returned to the tzaddik and told him about his failure. The tzaddik shook his head. "You think anger is an enemy you must defeat with force. But anger is a habit. You cannot break it with one blow. You can only replace it with another habit." He took the same jug and turned it upside down. When the jug stands upright, you can pour anything into it. But if you turn it over, the water will not stay. Your anger is the habit of standing upright. An offensive word fills you, and you explode. Learn to turn the jug over. Those 3 words are one way, but you thought they would work by themselves. A child falls 100 times before taking the first step. You fell too. That does not mean the remedy doesn't work. It means you have only just begun to learn. The tzaddik gave Yosef a small pebble. Every time you control your anger and stay silent, move the pebble from your right pocket to your left. When you lose control, move it back. At the end of the day, see which pocket holds the pebble. Do not judge yourself, just observe. With each passing day, it will be more often in your left pocket. Yosef returned home. That same day, a merchant spoke rudely to him. He stayed silent, and that evening moved the pebble to his left pocket. The next day, there were 2 incidents. Once, he stayed silent. The second time, he lost control. But now, he did not weep with shame. He remembered, a child falls 100 times. He moved the pebble back. Tomorrow is a new day. Weeks passed. The pebble moved more and more often into the left pocket and stayed there longer, then almost always. Anger began to visit less frequently. It stopped being the master and became a guest that could be turned away at the door. 3 months later, Yosef came back to the tzaddik. He was calm. "I understand," he said. "I thought breaking a habit meant winning one big battle, but it is hundreds of small battles. I fell, I got up, I fell again. And only when I stopped judging myself for falling did I begin to win." The tzaddik smiled and pointed to the jug, still standing upside down on the shelf. "Now you know, a habit does not disappear in one day. But if you turn the jug over every day, one day you will discover that nothing stays inside it anymore. Not because you have become stronger, but because you have stopped attaching great importance to the habit. A person does not get rid of a bad habit by fighting it. He gets rid of it when he no longer needs it. You sought strength in anger. Now you have found strength in silence. Go in peace." Yosef returned home. His wife no longer feared to speak. The neighbors greeted him again. He sat on his doorstep, watching the sunset, and felt the heavy stone he had carried for years finally fall from his shoulders.